Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I was hoping that people had overrun and I could run through this in a few minutes because it really is the very beginning for us in SESAME. We had our kick-off meeting last week, so it's my first presentation talking about SESAME. So SESAME was actually... Sorry, is that next? Yeah, no, it is... This one. Sorry, I was using... So this was a call under Horizon 2020, the call under eInfra 6. There is only going to be one network for HPC competency centres for SMEs. So we've heard a bit more about the centres of excellence in the presentations today, but there is only this one competency centre. That is the cover at the moment in terms of the number of partners, but obviously what we need to do is to expand that as part of the network. So we're trying to separate out that this is the project, but in fact the network is about being inclusive and open. That's a list of the partners, and I think you can get a copy of these slides afterwards, but here you can see the logos. Not as many yet as obviously ETP for HPC and the other guys, but hopefully we'll be able to build on this. In terms of the call, this was obviously the scope and the specific challenge, as I mentioned, it's Support One network. It is about promoting access to SMEs, enhancing the usage. So I think I see that the centres of excellence are the ones who are experimenting, they're finding out new ways of doing things. This competence is about widening the access to the centres of excellence. And of course it's cross-sectoral, it's not specific to some application domains. In terms of the expected impact, which I'm jumping down to there, it is actually about collating best practice, about increasing the number of SMEs who are using HPC, and to try and be a focal point. I think we've seen on some of the slides that Sergi was showing there, in Work Package 5 that they're doing, we're obviously keen to see how we work with them because there was an overlap potentially in looking at training the next generation, and we need to make sure that we can join up through these major initiatives. Overall, obviously the key is for everybody's benefit to not only improve the competitiveness of our SMEs as users, but also to actually increase the size of the market for everybody's benefit. So this is about an inclusive network, about best practice. All the, sometimes say that we see what a lot of these things are. What we haven't got, but a lot of activity in projects like Shape SME, Cloud SME, Fortissimo, and all excellent projects. And this is an opportunity to collate all of that and to learn from each other's experiences. I think one of the strengths of the partnership was actually the mix of centres or organisations. And I can see at least 2 partners now in the room, so I'm pleased about that. So hopefully they'll be able to encourage you to join the network. Some of the centres are actually experience centres. So I think on the next one, we've got the ones who've been working with SMEs for some time. So HPC Wales was set up specifically to support SMEs in Wales. The Fraunhofer and Horst is there at the back, I think. iCheck and Theska. And then we've got some national members of PRACE within iCheck and GRNet and the Polish centre. And we have some national facilities who aren't members of PRACE. So we've got UVT in Romania and RBI in Croatia. And then we've got regional centres and we've got a newly set up private sector. So the key here was for us, I think, was that diversity. It does align obviously very well with the policy and strategy, and this is what we're looking to do. How do we set up HPC competency centres that can facilitate better access to industry and specifically the SMEs? I think that we've been working in the UK on looking at HPC for SMEs, and whilst we talk about networks and the need for local presence, I think the conclusion is that SMEs do actually want access, local access, and really they need the relationships with the people on the ground, just not the access to obviously the technology. This is obviously the key, that the point that within the strategy that I think SESAME is aiming to address. This is a draft report, but obviously the Commission have just been having a review of progress against the strategy, and I believe here where it says that we've still some way to go, that obviously the purpose of having SESAME is to address some of those areas, so it's progress. Within the Commission, and I'm probably not the right person to talk about this, I thought maybe Panos, just highlighting, we talk about silos and people working, projects working in silos. I think the Commission are looking through Horizon 2020 to break some of those barriers down through its new innovation approach. And here what we've got, you can see, is a mix of projects that have been funded, grouped together to create these clusters of projects where they hopefully can create good practice and better networking. So the story so far is that, as I say, we had our kick-off meeting on Thursday and Friday of last week. Some of the next steps are actually setting up the network, its governance and membership, obviously widening the membership. So I think what we need is for people here to get in touch with us about the ways in which they feel that they've got either something to contribute or something to benefit from being part of an HPC competency centre network. We will be looking at the calendar events. We will actually add to that, obviously the 29th and 30th of September now, and we're keen to identify other organisations that you might know. So please do contact me for further information, and colleagues. There will be a website going live in the next few weeks, so there'll be a lot more information on that. But that's it for now.